This is just a sample of the audiobook. To get the complete audiobook, access the link posted in the first comment.
The first transport in late September 1941 was followed by many more. The migration, carried out by the Gestapo and Jewish forced helpers, progressed in a thoroughly organized and structured manner. It had a certain Prussian correctness, almost a legitimacy. On the one hand, the victims had been worn down through years of oppression, and on the other hand, they tried to face even this new hardship with dignity and pride. No one should be able to say anything bad about us, and we'll show those Germans just what Jews are made of. Street by street, people were told to prepare for their departure. They received a letter with a detailed information sheet, lists of objects that could be taken with them, instructions how to leave their apartments. Those who were notified had to either report to the assembly camp themselves, or else, always early in the morning, they would be picked up by truck by the Gestapo or Jewish marshals. The marshals helped, comforted, calmed. They were in charge of taking care of the intended deportees until 1,000 people had been gathered. Then the trains left. In the beginning, old passenger trains were used. Later it was freight or cattle cars. The terrible Nazi term, transport, was truly fitting. As of October 26, 1941, every legal form of real emigration was prohibited for Jews. For us Zionist young people, the idea of making our own aliyah became a total illusion, though one we continued to hold on to tightly. We didn't have anything else. Farewells became commonplace. More and more acquaintances and friends would say they had received their lists. The first reaction was always to give them courage. Then you'd repress in your mind the question of if and when your turn would come. Information about what really happened in the East didn't start trickling in until 1942. Rumors were heard on BBC radio about abuse during the transports and in the concentration camps. Nathan warned us in a letter not to comply with the order to migrate. He knew already that the Nazis had begun systematically murdering the Jews. Then I met a remarkable woman through Zizchak Schwersens. She had decided she was going to save as many Jews as she possibly could from deportation. Her name was Edith Wolf. We called her Iwo. Iwo was born in 1904 in Berlin. She, too, was a Mischling from a family with a Christian mother and Jewish father. Although her parents had baptized her as a Protestant, she felt Jewish, and in 1930, as an act of political protest, converted to Judaism. An aunt saw to it that her membership card vanished from the files of the Jewish community in 1936, so she remained unchecked for the time being and could work all the better against the Nazis. It began with little pinpricks, as she later called them, such as making anti-Nazi remarks in public, marking library books that expounded Nazi propaganda, or sending anonymous mass postcards to the German people, for example. When Wearing the Yellow Star was introduced with the following text, "Deutschland is now called Braunschweig," the German city of Brunswick. One half wears Nazi brown, and the other half remains silent. Another action she and others took was systematically riding the Berlin S-Bahn without paying, to undermine the state. Once Iwo started working together with Recha Freer, the mother of the youth aliyah, her illegal actions became more directed. I knew the friars since I shared a bench with Recha's son at the synagogue. They lived not far from us near the Friedrichshain Park. Rika Freyer had a falling out with the Reich Association of Jews in 1940 when she tried to arrange forged emigration certificates for Polish Jews interested in the Sachsenhausen camp. Albert Selbiger of the Youth Aid and Paul Epstein from the Reich Association were both devoted Zionists, possibly making things worse for the Jews.